So I am back. This is like a chit chat video. I'm just here to talk, and like I'm not going anywhere after now, so I didn't feel the need to put on lashes. And then I want you all to look at my contact legs, guys. Like I have constantly been looking at my face, guys. Like I'm trying to see the difference, but then I can't tell. Maybe someone else will tell when they see me, or maybe you can tell from watching this video. So guys, I want to talk about how my year has been. In all honesty, I feel like this has been one of those years where I have questioned myself a lot, and maybe also questioned God a lot. If I'm not supposed to, but then I have found myself in that situation where I have questioned God a lot. I have tried to figure out exactly what the issue is. Like things didn't go as planned, in all honesty. Like I felt like I started this year started with like going down. Like, so ending of last year around October, I lost my grandmom. I understand that it's a celebration of life, but then it doesn't still take away from the fact that I lost someone who I loved. And then life continued, and it just continued. Like there was no pause. There was no pause. Like, and that's the funny thing about like people die, and people expect you to just continue living just like that. Like they are dead and they are gone. I understand that, but then these people are an integral part of your life, so most times it's actually difficult. So then January came, and January was, I think, the height of it. Like I felt January defined my year. In like we came back in January. I came back before my parents, and then I had my brother who stayed with me, my younger brother. And so when I say my younger brother, this is actually my cousin, my dad's younger brother's son. But then he has stayed with us right from, I think, when he was 5 or 4. So practically he's my blood brother. Like, and we call his name is Carlo, but we call him Chief or Chifo. And then he fell sick in between the year. Not in between the year, that same month in January. I think they came back, and like in the second week in January, he was sick. We took him to the hospital. Like we have a family hospital, and funny enough, that hospital also happened to be where I also registered for my HMO. So like that's where I registered for my HMO. So if I was sick, I'll just take my card there, and the company pays for it. Blah blah blah. That's what HMO is. And so we went to the hospital, and then in the hospital they said it was malaria. They didn't even test him, and like they didn't test him, so they just assumed it was malaria, and they were giving him malaria drugs, injection, and this kid wasn't getting better. He took the injection for 1 week, and so I don't want to cry in this video. I tried to make sure that I told myself that when saying this, an overview of my year, I'll try so much not to cry, but then it's not that easy. So he went to the hospital, he was on injection, and he wasn't getting better after the 7 days injection or so. And then I remember vividly well, it was on a Thursday. He wasn't getting better. He kept complaining of his head, his eyes were swollen. Like, so my dad took him to the hospital that morning. And there are certain things that I will not forget, and I definitely don't want to forget. That morning when he was going to the hospital, because I was also going to work that morning, I even entered the car with them, and my mom was also going to work. And from the window, before we went, he was like, I should tell him, because my mom left before us, and my mom was going like, I should tell my mom to buy socks for him. Like he had money that they had given him that Christmas that he gave to my mom. And I just remember saying that, you're talking about socks, while the most important thing is for you to get well. And I said that to him. I was like, socks is not the issue. Like, now when I think about it, I don't know if that was like, I don't know if that was the right statement, but then I said to him, like, socks is not the main issue. Like, we're talking about how you should get well and you're talking about socks. And so we went to the hospital, and then my dad called me. I'd gotten to work that they admitted him and everything. I was like, okay. And then after work, I stopped by at the hospital. And when I stopped by at the hospital, I just saw him lying there. They had given him drips, but now he was free. And I asked him, how are you? And he kept saying, he just said he's fine, but that his head is paining him. And when he said that, I was like, oh, why is your head still paining? I'm like, oh, Chief. I just said, Chief, you're extra. Like, you know that thing that you don't think this is the sickness that will take that person away. Like, in a million years, I would never have said, not in a million years, but at that point, I would never have said that's what would have taken him away. Like, it's surreal. Even till now, I try not to forget he's gone. Like, I have his pictures everywhere around me. Like, I don't want to forget he's gone. And that might not be a good thing, but that's the way I'm dealing with it. And so he said the extra. I just left and I'm like, okay. But one thing I keep blaming myself for, and I don't know, was when he said, even though I had dismissed him when he said he had that headache, his head was still aching. I actually went out to look for the doctors, but there was no doctor around. Like, they said the doctor just stepped out or something, or went to another ward. So the doctor was not there. I wanted to ask the doctor, like, this boy is saying he still has headache, so what's the issue? What's the next line of action? But then I didn't see any doctor, and so I left and told him I was going to come the next day. Only if I had known that that was like the last night. And so I went home. And when I got home, we were contemplating on who would sleep with him in the hospital. And I was like, I just got back, I'm tired, and I have to leave early in the morning. So my younger brother said he was going to stay with him. I wish, seriously, like, I wish I had stayed with him in the hospital. I don't know if it would have changed anything. I don't know if it would have made me know when he was about to leave. I don't know, but one thing I'll always blame myself for is I wish I had stayed in the hospital. I wish I was the one at the hospital. Like, it would have made sense if I wanted to know, was he struggling when he was going? Did he just go like that? Like, what was the scenario when he was leaving? Was he in pain? I already knew he was in pain, but was he in so much pain? Was he screaming out to the doctors? What was the situation when he left? These are certain questions I always ask myself, and I might never get answers to. But then my brother stayed, and from what my brother told us, that when he was leaving in the morning, that was like around 4:35, he was still okay. And he even tapped him and said, Chief, I'm going to work. And he said, okay, bye. And around, I think 5:30, not so sure, 6, and then there was a call. And I feel like that call was what defined my 2019. And the call was from the doctor that he was dead. My chief was gone. At that moment, it felt, man, life is empty. The world is empty. Like, I feel like I know there's nothing in this life, in all honesty. And that moment, like, I just started to cry, and I started questioning myself, why did I not stay in the hospital? What was the issue? Was there any doctor to really check? Like, all those questions kept ringing in my head. And then my dad went. It was after he was admitted in the hospital that they actually said he had cerebral something. So I think the sickness or the malaria or whatever it was had gotten into his head. And I don't know how that is possible, because if you had been treating him for malaria like you said earlier on, so then what happened? How did the sickness get into his head? But then maybe because they didn't do a test, maybe it was malaria plus plus, it could have been typhoid, could have been so many things joined together, but because they didn't do a test on time to know what the issue was, that was what actually caused it. And so he went, they called, they said he was gone. And like I said, that defined my year. And then my dad went, and that was the first time I was seeing a dead corpse. We brought him home. They brought the corpse home. We had to call my aunt. Like I said, this is my dad's younger brother. And so there were different issues. Do we bury him here in Lagos? Do we take him home? Like so many controversies. And this is a little boy. He was just 13. And so many controversies around it. Around where to bury him. And then I feel I always remember was when they brought his lifeless body and put it down. That was when I knew finally this was real. And then I stood, I watched everything happen, from them embalming his body, and he was just lifeless. They kept putting the whatever liquid substance to embalm his body, they kept putting it into him, and he wasn't moving. He was just still. And he was just still. And then they came, and we finally agreed, and we took him down to the village and they buried him. One thing I always remember is that immediately one thing I always remember him for is that every time we talk about me getting married, he always used to say, I'll be the one to drive you on your wedding day. Even though that is funny, because how will you be the one to drive on my wedding day? You're just 13. Do you think I'll wait for you till like how many years before you be 18 before I'll get married? And every time I'll tell him, I'll just tell him, is it me you want to kill? You won't kill me. And we'll just laugh over it. But today he's not even here to witness anything. He's not here to see me when I finally get married. And I just feel like his life was cut short. He wanted to be so many things. He was good. Like, he could draw. He was a very good artist. He could draw so well. Like, so maybe he could have been an artisan or whatever they are called. Maybe an artist, not an artisan, an artist. He could draw so well. Like, we live in an estate, and people in the estate who knew him always bring maybe like their children's assignment for him to draw. He was so good at that, and he loved school. Like, he was full of life. He was my personal person. Like, when he died, I used to always tell my sister that people always say when people die, they appear to those that they love, maybe to say like a final goodbye. That might just be like a fallacy or something. But so long, I used to tell my sister when he died that I just want to see him in my dream once. I used to pray to God that I just want to see him in my dream once. I want to know how he's doing. Is he fine? What did he like? I just want him to talk to me. Maybe just like I was looking for comfort in the fact that maybe I could just see him once and he could just tell me it's fine. You don't need to cry anymore about me. I'm in a better place or something. I don't have that. I've not seen in my dream, nothing. And I feel like maybe that's why I still feel so much pain whenever I think about him. And the painful part is that I pass through the hospital every day because of that singularity. Like, I blame the hospital for some things, even though then we talk about it being God's will. And because of that, I have not gone to that hospital throughout this year. Like, and thank God, not like I've not fallen sick one or twice, but then I have resorted to doing self-medication. Just go to the pharmacy. I know sometimes people in my office, even when I say I'm sick, they ask me, have you gone to the hospital? I just go to the pharmacy. There are some pharmacies that can actually run a test on you. I just go there, run a test to really detect what the issue is, because I haven't brought myself to be able to go back to that hospital. I don't know what my reaction will be when I get to that hospital. So, and that was how Chief went, and Chief died, and the era of Chief left. It's now I understand. People will never understand how you feel. But like, I don't pray for anyone to lose their loved ones until they are old, and but you will never understand what it feels like for someone to lose a loved one until you are in that position. So I feel like what I hate most is people who still, because I like every month I try to remember the month he was gone, and like I do, like it's like 2 months he left. Like, it's surreal. I used to be the only one with him in this house. I will hear his voice, it will come in to be me and Chief. He used to do certain things for me, like we would eat, like it was an integral part of me. So when I try to remember him and I see people on, like maybe on my WhatsApp status, or people who come to me and tell me, are you still crying over this? Are you still brooding over this? Like, are you still, like, who the hell? Sorry guys, but I don't think you're in the position to tell me not to remember him, or to tell me it's okay. Like, people grieve differently. If the way to find comfort for myself is to remember him every month, then so be it. Let me do it the best way I know how to get over it. If I decide I want to remember him every month, yes, he's my brother. I have every right to decide that I do not want to forget that he's gone. Because in actual sense, I do not want to forget he's gone. I want to always remember him. Like let people grieve is what I'm saying. It's already so much that when you lose someone, you have to go back to work almost immediately. Like, that's already enough. Like, you go, like, almost in next day you're going back. Like, for me, he died like on a Thursday. Excuse me, I didn't go to work on Friday, then the weekend. On Monday I was back at work, and not because my office people won't let me stay back home, but then I felt like if I had stayed back home, I would just have continued crying and crying and crying. So I didn't stop to actually mourn the way I know that I wanted to. So remembering him is my way of saying, okay, it's fine, you're here. I still want to celebrate his life as much as I can. He lived a very short life. He was just 13 years. And that, like I said, it's like people need to stop. Please, let people grieve. People have different ways of grieving. Let people grieve the way they know best how to. Let people celebrate their loved ones when they are gone. If they want to do it for like 2-3 years till they feel like they have done it enough and they are comfortable, or they have found a particular kind of comfort, please let them be. Don't go about saying, are you still doing this? Like, it doesn't make any sense, guys. Like, do you and let other people do them. Like, don't give people your own suggestions. Just do you, please. Like, I had to tell a friend of who was constantly, like, every month saying, like, who. So please, guys, let's just respect people's opinion. Let's respect people, especially when it's in delicate issues like this. Let's try to be considerate and not just talk anyhow to them. Like, these people are actually passing through. So that's another thing. And because of that, I think that affected my year, like I said. So I don't know if that's the right word, but then I was angry at God. And I know people will say God knows best, or who are you to be angry at God, but then I was legit angry at God. Like, I felt like, why will you allow such a little boy die? Like, we pray in my house, we're prayerful and everything, everybody's spiritual, at least to an extent, to the best. Like, I was angry. I don't know how to explain it. I was angry at God for the longest time, guys. For the longest time. I feel like even till now, I'm still angry. And it defined a whole lot. So because of that, I stopped going to church. I didn't go to church for the longest time. And people in church noticed I wasn't in church. But then, there were only a few people who actually reached out to ask what the issue was. And I'm not someone who talks about my feeling if I'm not so close to you. I know how to hold back all my feelings. So I would just tell them I was fine, this, that, and I didn't go to church for the longest time. So I stayed back home. I wasn't praying, in all honesty. I wasn't studying the word. I just wanted to be alone. I just felt like God had, in a way, God had failed me. He had let something terrible, as terrible as this, happen to me. And so I wasn't praying. And I'm saying this up to even July. Like, I started getting back on track with God maybe just maybe a month or 2 months ago. That was when for the longest time I also didn't take communion, because I knew, like, if I'm not in the right place with God, then I don't have to take communion. I know communion is very sacred, so I wasn't even taking communion. And I even till now I haven't, because I feel like I'm not yet at the right place, even though I've started going back to church. Yes, so I'm back to church, back to teaching in the Sunday school, but then there's still that space, there's still that vacuum that I feel like I need to get back to this point to be able to maybe go back to taking communion or doing this or doing that. So that was like a defining point for me. And then after that, things just happened even within the family. Like, I'm trying to imagine how, as a family now, not only about me, how my family even went through this year. Because in all honesty, I feel like the what broke the camel's back was even about maybe a month or 2 months ago, when someone actually lost their job. Someone close to us, somebody within my family lost their job. And there was an out I came out from work and my dad was telling me, and there was an outburst. Like, I just told my dad, like, my dad kept on saying God knows best, God knows best. And honestly, God knows best. But in that moment, I felt like I hadn't said that out, and I just said to my dad, I'm like, where is this God? Like, what's this outburst? And my dad kept telling me that I shouldn't blaspheme, that was blasphemy and everything. But I just told him I didn't care, and that I was just tired of this whole thing. Like, God, we're always on praying God, and yet God, there wasn't this testimony. There was not, like, we couldn't say we ended this year with this great highlight or achievement. No, things fell in place, no doubt about it. But then I just felt at that point I just needed to let out that outburst, and like, because I felt like it was enough, and I felt like God could do something if he wanted to. He's all knowing. He actually sees what we're going through, and so I wanted him to do something. And I just felt like the cross was so much, the cup was full and running over with problems, temptations, obstacles, and I was tired, guys. So I just had to just let that out. And then coming back to my personal life, I didn't have such a great year. I've said that so much. But then I was trying to find myself. You know, when they say midlife crisis, like my colleague would call it, I think I experienced that this year. I kept trying to find my purpose. I haven't still found it, in all honesty. I kept trying to in a professional scene, trying to figure out what next should I do, what professional course should I go for. Like, what in my personal life, what should I be doing to actually elevate myself? And I couldn't just find it. Like, I was lost. I kept going in circles. I haven't still figured it out now, but now I am more patient and just taking it as it goes. And so that was a major problem for me. Like, I would just stay and I would cry. Like, I felt so lost this year. I was so lost. But then I'm thankful for people I have around me. Like, I used to, not like I used to, I had a friend who I could always confide in and just tell, and he recommended some books to me. And I had someone else who I always talk to, and these people would just cheer me up and say everything will be fine, you will get to find out what your purpose is. Or I didn't go for any professional course, I didn't start up any business, I didn't do anything. So that was also something about this year that I didn't like. And because of that, this year to me just went by. There was no milestone this year. I didn't reach any milestone this year, and I felt like this year was wasted. Honestly, I feel like my 26 years is about to go with no milestone achieved. On my 25, partly my 25 and partly my 26, there was no milestone, and it's painful because this is another year gone by, and if I didn't achieve anything this year, time has gone. I have wasted time, and it felt like I was just occupying space, and I wasn't giving anything into the world. I wasn't giving anything into the world. I wasn't giving my input. So I was hot, I was angry, I was sad. Since I couldn't figure it, and I felt like God wasn't also revealing things to me, I just let it go, and I just ignored it. And I have been living life just as it comes. Whatever I see, I take. Whatever each day brings to me, I take, which is actually not a good way to live life, guys. But then I found myself in that position, so that happened. The only good thing I would say happened this year was me starting this YouTube channel, because I had planned this for so long, and I think I felt like, and this YouTube channel started because I wanted to actually push myself. I needed a way to express myself, like all these things I'm saying. I didn't have anyone to really say, this is how I feel. Like, who will you tell that God is not faithful? Like, people will just start saying, nobody wants to come now to actually listen. Why is this girl saying God is not faithful? Like, this channel to able to just come here, apart from do my makeup, talk about things, also come here to maybe rant when things are not going so well. And so that was basically why I started the channel, and so here I am doing my first run. And so next year I'm looking to be more cautious. No, that's not the word. And I'm looking to be more intentional. Yes, guys, I want to be more intentional about so many things, about my spiritual life, praying, studying the word. I want to get back into it, the way, like, have a routine for it. I know it's not so easy to be able to follow routines here in Lagos because of the traffic and work, but then I want to get into a routine spiritually, make out time for that. And also in my social life, be intentional about being social, because my life is like a triangle right now: home, office, church, home, office, church. So it's a triangle, and I want to break out of that triangle. That in general has been my year, guys. I'm sorry if this video is everywhere, but I just needed to share my experience of what this year has been like. It hasn't been such a great year. I have fought with God. I have come back to God, because I have found out that, in all honesty, He's the only way. In as much as you try, I've learned that I can't do it without Him. And so I am back at His feet, hoping and praying that He remembers me and shows me mercy. I am still working towards finding my passion, or finding my purpose in life. I just need to pray about it and hope that that's the right direction for me. In general, I'm hoping that next year, come 2020, this baby girl's life there'll be a turnaround in my life. Like, I'm hoping that next year I ball hard. I also have a clearer picture of my life. I had to make this video because I feel like certain times I forget details of what surrounded your death, and in all honesty, I don't want to forget. I want to always remember every single thing that happened. So this is like a memo for me, so I can always come back here to watch and remember. I love you so much. I'm sorry, guys, if this video was everywhere, if it wasn't what you expected, if I ranted a whole lot, if I repeated things so much. I am honestly sorry, guys. I sincerely apologize, rather. But I'm happy that if you stick to me to this point and you watch this video, I am appreciative of you. Thank you for taking out time to watch this video. I didn't want this video to be so long, and I hope it's not super duper long, because then it will be hard to edit this video, because it's not like a makeup video where I can cut out clips. I was mainly here pouring out my heart to you guys, so I hope this video wasn't so long. Or I see you in another video.